the icebreaker, fellow Toastmaster neighbors told her that they would like to hear more about her life. Responding to those requests inspired this next speech entitled, How I Got This Way, Faith, Family, and Bungee Jumping.
Tonight I'm going to share mostly about my childhood and experiences that I've had and explain the most important things of making me who I am and how I got this way, how I am. I was born and raised in Dryden. My parents owned a pear orchard. My mom was a preschool teacher. They're very, very loving, supportive parents. I'm very thankful for them. They love each other, they love the Lord, they love their children. They sacrificed and saved to send their kids to a private school, even though they really couldn't afford it, which I'm forever grateful for. I attended a Christian school in Leavenworth, kindergarten through 10th grade. And this wonderful school, great education, great experiences as well. I got outdoor ed, I got to go to Washington, D.C. my freshman year of high school. I'm very thankful for those experiences. I have, the property I grew up in was really cool. It was a pear orchard, and there was a big old shed. There was actually used to be an old wine sap apple warehouse built in the 20s. About twice as big as our house, probably just the one level. It has a full basement as well. They also had my dad built a tree house by hand, not a tree house, but a fort, two-story fort. He built by hand for his kids, just out of love. It's still standing today. Hasn't been used in about 15 years, but it's still there. I have two older siblings. My sister is 6 years older than me. My brother is 4 years older than me. And them being closer in age, me being farther apart, they loved to gang up on pick on me, which I always just went along with because I was happy they're paying attention to me. So they loved to dress me up in weird outfits or make me eat questionable foods. My sister was very clever, creative, adventurous, especially when we were kids. Always come up with crazy schemes for us to do. One example of this is in that shed I told you about. There's this big square hole in the floor with a pulley system that hooked up to bins as a kind of makeshift elevator we used to haul things up and down. So one time I was probably 10, 11 years old, I had a friend over. My sister decided we were going to have fun with this pulley system. So we got those straps off of those apple picker buckets the pickers wear when they're picking pears off the trees. Put them on our waist as harnesses. Put bungee cords on the pulley system. Down the basement of the shed, flying around down there. That was one of the many activities I did that my parents were not aware of. I don't think they still know to this day some of the things we did down there. I also learned how to drive a three-wheeler when I was 9 years old. Went through the orchard. I was just learning how to drive. My mom was a passenger. She refused to learn how to drive this thing, so she was behind me. I was driving and it went over a little hill and it totally flipped over on us completely. Thankfully, we weren't hurt. But my dad decided after that he's going to upgrade to a four-wheeler because they're more stable. So I spent many years, probably about age 10 to 14, I spent hours and hours out there on that thing, driving around, going over bumps my dad wasn't watching, teaching my friends how to drive. A lot of adventures out there. But the most important impact in my life has been my faith. I was raised in church. I went to a Christian school. I attended summer camp. I was a counselor during high school, and those 4 years I was a counselor were some of my most precious memories during those years, where I was known by the staff and campers as Puka. That was my name. After 10th grade, I did transfer to a public school in Leavenworth. That was the best decision for me. I didn't really like it, but it was definitely had an impact on me as well, having that different experience. And After graduation, I went off to a private school, private university in Idaho. I was there for 1 semester, had a bunch of medical problems, had to leave to get the help that I needed. Then I came home, got some help, and then that next fall I moved to Seattle to go to school and work as a nanny. Did that for 2 years over there. And I moved back in 2008 and eventually got a job at a bank. I worked as a teller for 2.5 years there. And then last summer I promoted to bank services specialist there. I lost that job in March, but it turned out being the best thing that ever happened to me because I am going on, starting next month, training to be medical assistant at college. Very excited about that. So the main things that have impacted me and make me who I am are my wonderful parents, my supportive, loving, but also sometimes crazy siblings, my friends, and my faith, most importantly. So that is how I got this way.